to fill out the
Back. This is TurboCharge Your Business on the number one global business talk and news network on the internet, IBGR, International Business Growth Radio. I'm Patty Lawrence. This is episode 48, Impacting Your Numbers. Be sure to go to our website at ibgr.network and download the show notes. So, what exactly does impacting your numbers really mean? Well, I will tell you, impacting your numbers means that you, as the business owner, have the ability to make decisions to change the trajectory of your financial performance. So, as part of business intelligence, the global business intelligence, you have available to you is the foundational elements. You've got your big three reports: income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. You get the difference between cash and profit because you've been listening to me, of course. That's important. You also understand that finance and accounting are kind of art and science blended together. They're the best of both worlds, right? We take the black and the white and the gray and we get answers, right? We get some different scenarios for you. We get some, we throw in some rules, we throw in some estimates, we throw in some assumptions, and poof, we get some answers and direction. And we might get a best case, worst case scenario, or we get the middle of the road, most likely to happen type of thing. Then we get some analysis. We throw that in as well. And gives us the ability to understand what the numbers are telling us, right? And we understand because we've got ratios, we've got metrics, we've got, calculating profitability and gross margin percentages and ROIs, all of those. And we understand what all of those mean. And then we throw in the environment. We throw in the big picture, right? What's going on with our customers, our vendors, our competitive landscape, the economy. Throw all of those in. And then, as a business owner, so we're armed with all of those areas. And then we've talked about owning your numbers, right? So you own them as a business owner, right? You own those numbers. You don't, give them off to somebody else and hand them over such that you don't have access to them, because access is everything. Access to your numbers is power, right? You have the insight to what's going on in your business from a financial standpoint, but it backs up into operations, right? Because what goes on in operations is impacting your financial statements and shows up on your financial reports. So, if you can't tell, I'm very passionate about this, right? So, you have to own your numbers to be able to do all of this business financial intelligence, right? That's one of the fundamentals, right? Because if you don't own your numbers, then you're not going to have access to your income statement. You're not going to have access to your balance sheet and cash flow statements. You're not going to have access to any KPIs that rely on financial information. You're not going to be able to manage your accounts receivable or your folks, right? Your team are not going to be able to manage those things. They're not going to be able to manage your accounts payable, right? You're going to be flying blind. We can't have that as business owners, right? That's probably the most uncomfortable position you can ever be in as a business owner, is flying blind. Because You don't own your numbers. Somebody took them away or you gave them away. Don't ever give them away. You give away power that way. You can delegate, that's okay, but don't give them away. You need to make sure they're at arm's length at all times because that's the beating heart of your business. And that's how you keep a finger on the pulse of your business, right? That's the financial health, the status of your business. Got to have it. And then the second piece is really understanding what those numbers mean, right? So now that you have them and you have them at arm's length, what do they mean, right? So that's where we have some horsepower, right? Analytical horsepower inside the business so that we understand. We understand what the numbers are telling us. That's basic. These are basics. You can always level up, right? You can always level up and have more. More is usually better as long as it's relevant. If you're just generating reports to generate reports and have numbers on a page, I call that data vomit. If people are giving you data vomit, just give them the hand, show them the hand to stop doing that because it's not lending itself to any analysis. It's not really revealing the story behind the numbers. So there's a difference between data vomit and reports that are meaningful and insightful. Okay. The two are very, very different. One is just a data dump, data vomit, if you will, that has no meaning. And you have zero ability to draw any conclusions or analyze anything with data vomit. Reports that are thoughtful and laid out and insightful, however, lend themselves to making decisions. And impacting your numbers is where those decisions are actually going to get executed. So, what exactly does that look like? So we talked before about when you understand the numbers, you understand what a good number and a bad number is in your business. What does that look like, right? And that'll vary. That'll vary from usually year to year or even month to month because of either your environment, the big picture, where you're trying to go. It could be a lot of different things, right? So, really understanding a good versus a bad number takes us to impacting your numbers. So, what do you do? And do you know what to do when you encounter a bad number? So, when a quote, bad number shows up, which means it's not leading you down the path that you want to go, what do you do about that bad number? What do you do about that bad boy? Well, it's going to depend. And I hate when people say that, right? Well, it depends. Well, it really does depend, right? So, what kind of a number is it, right? So we said it's a bad number. So is it revenue bad number? Is it expense bad number? Is it accounts receivable bad number? What kind of a bad number? Is it a bad metric, right? Are you working? Is your cost of labor as a percent of sales too high? What makes it a bad number for you? Again, the reason these all come together is because you're getting your financial information on demand. It's available to you on demand. On demand meaning you can reach out and get it with little to no effort, right? It's just available. So you need to use that information to drive your business, right? Because it's available and you see a bad number, whoa, what do you do about it? Well, depends on the bad number, right? So when we understand what the bad number is telling us, then we can make some informed and insightful decisions, right? So One of those decisions is understanding where you can impact your number. And what I like to use, the term I like to use is what levers, like a lever on a piece of machinery, what levers are available to you to dial up or dial down to impact that number. And impact that number means, okay, so our spending on advertising or marketing is too high. Ooh, how can we reduce that? How do we dial that down? Conversely, what about our sales? Oh, we're missing our targets. Oh, well, how do we dial up that number? Is there an offer we can put out? Do we have enough product? Do we have enough bandwidth to be able to take on a new project? What do those look like? What are those levers that we as business owners have access to be able to impact those numbers? Again, we want to make sure we're controlling our destiny as a company, as a business, right? And we as owners totally have the ability to do that via the levers to be able to impact your business, knowing good numbers from bad numbers. So next week, our theme is It's a Cycle, where we'll cover what exactly it is, the elements of the cycle, and how to leverage it within your business. Be sure to check out my collection of free resources at turboexecs.com/turbocharge. And you can continue the conversation with me, Patty Lawrence, on LinkedIn. Thanks for tuning in to Turbocharge Your Business and What is Financial Intelligence? Impacting Your Numbers on the IBGR Network. I'm Patty Lawrence. See you next time.